You've probably run your retirement numbers 100 times, but what if the perfect retirement age has nothing to do with a spreadsheet and everything to do with this one overlooked factor? Now, most people think retiring at 65 is ideal, but when you look at the actual outcomes of thousands of retirees, the real sweet spot was somewhere totally different, and the reason why might surprise you. So are you asking yourself, should I retire before 60, at 62, 65, or wait until 70? You're not alone, and the data we're about to go through in today's video may give you the clarity that you've been looking for. So what you might find surprising about this research is that almost half of retirees didn't actually choose when they stopped working. They found that over 48% of retirees left earlier than planned, and often due to layoffs, illness, burnout, or they could afford to do it and they just didn't know it. Only 10% retired later than expected in this research. And what I see more often than not is people saying, I'll figure it out later. But when I talk with my clients that have actually retired, they say, hey, I wish I took the time 5 years ago to plan ahead. Now, this video does not mean that you need to pick a retirement date today. It means you build the margin now, so when the moment comes, you could say yes. I tell clients, plan like you'll choose your retirement date, but prepare like you won't. That's why the perfect retirement age isn't always something you choose on a calendar. It's something you prepare for ahead of time. Because when life throws you curveballs or when the opportunity suddenly shows up, the real win is being ready to say yes. And that's what this video is really about, how to know when the moment has arrived and how to recognize your personal perfect age to retire. And what might be interesting is that maybe you're way closer to retirement than you think. And I'm being serious when I say this. Most people have this vague idea like someday, maybe 65, maybe later. But let's actually look at the research. What does the data say about when people actually retire? And it's interesting because over half Americans retire between age 61 and 65. Almost 2/3 are out of the workforce by 69. And then we've got 1 in 5 that actually retire before they even hit 54. So already, if you're someone in your 50s, you may already be standing in that retirement planning zone, even though it doesn't feel like it. The question is no longer if, it's how ready am I really? Now, here's what really caught my eye when I looked at this paper. The average retirement age in the US is 62. But when thousands of people were surveyed as to the best age, the sweet spot, if you will, it was age 63. And honestly, I think that makes a lot of sense on paper. At 63, 3 things are still working with you. Number 1, you're likely still mobile and healthy. 2, you've got decades of compound growth behind you. And then 3, you're just about 2 years shy of Medicare, so that health insurance gap is very manageable. Yes, financially delaying retirement, of course, will help more portfolio growth. But here's the thing that nobody talks about. By your late 60s, the health window starts to close. Think about this. And working longer could mean an extra $500,000 of savings, hypothetically, and sounds great. But if you're already ready financially, but you miss out the 3 best years of time and health, is that actually a win? This is where you really need to define what your personal break-even point is. It's that moment where the emotional and physical payoff of retiring now outweighs the financial boost of staying longer, of working longer. So yeah, I think age 63 is compelling, but what's more important is finding your moment, that point where your freedom, your health, and your finances finally line up. And when that happens, you get to stop asking, can I, and start asking, do I want to? Maybe I'm actually closer than I thought financially. I talked with hundreds of retirees and found that just because you're ready on paper doesn't mean this is an easy decision. Because once people do retire, sometimes they look back with mixed feelings. And another study, this one from Trans America Center, asked retirees what they regret most. It said 76% of them said they wish they saved more. 23% regret claiming Social Security too early, although the other 77% may have been very happy with their decision. And a lot of people, they never really defined what their purpose was before retiring. So yes, people wish they saved more, but here was a very important stat from that study that sort of stopped me in my tracks. And it said almost half of retirees who delayed retirement wished they'd done it 4 years earlier. So that's 4 years, 4 extra years of more money, more meetings, more routine. And when they finally stepped away, they realized they didn't need the extra income. They needed the extra time. That's why I talk to a lot of clients saying, hey, it's not just about your number, it's about what you're optimizing for. Freedom, energy, relationships, time with people you love. Truth is money is very important, but it's not the only factor. And for some of you, if you wait for everything to be perfect, you might be trading your best years for returns you didn't actually need. Now, I know retirement gets framed like a risk. What if I get bored? What if my health goes downhill? What if I lose purpose? And yes, those are very real fears, but here's what most people don't expect. The research says that retirement actually has a potential to boost happiness. In the same study, 82% of retirees say they feel more relaxed, 75% report less stress, and 67% say they're happier now than when they were working. And it's not just self-reports. There's actually real science behind this. Researchers tracked life satisfaction across the decades, and what they found is something called the U curve of happiness. And you can see throughout life, maybe we start happier in our younger years, life hits career, stress, responsibility, and satisfaction starts to dip. But as you get closer to retirement, as you get later in life, right around retirement time, it starts climbing again. Not because life gets easier, because we finally have space to breathe, to choose our own pace, experience under our belt, to spend time the way we want to, not the way someone else schedules it. So yes, retirement comes with change, but for most people, it seems that that change leads to more peace, more freedom, and more joy. So let's bring it back to you. You've seen the data, you've heard the regrets, and maybe you're wondering, that's great, Matt. I understand that a study says this, 63 sounds optimal on paper, but maybe you're asking, when is the perfect age for me? And this decision is just as much financial as it is emotional. So what I did for this video is create a simple 3-question scorecard that can help you start to hopefully get some clarity on this decision. Although this is very simple, I think it's really powerful and perhaps it can help you. So I made a free Google Doc that you make a copy of in the description below. You can answer it on your own time, but let me give you a sneak peek of how to use it. So there's going to be 3 sections on health, finances, and purpose, and you're going to score yourself 1 to 10 on each of these. The first question is, of course, about health, and that is, how capable do you feel right now to enjoy retirement the way you imagine it? You think about travel, energy, independence, daily movement. Honestly, are you living in the body that can support that lifestyle? So take a second to answer that on your own time. The second one, number 2, is finances. How confident are you that your income, your savings, and your tax plan can support you and your family over the next 30 plus years? You may have run the numbers, but do you trust the plan, or do you need a second opinion? And number 3 is purpose. What does a great day in the life of your retirement look like for you? Not just I'll travel or I'll relax. No, what does a real day, a fulfilling day look like for you? So after you go through all that, add up your scores, maybe even answer it separately with your spouse, and maybe you'll have different answers, which might be a fun conversation. But generally what I find, if you're in that 24 to 30 point range, you might already be in that window. So the question isn't, am I ready? It's, what's holding me back? If you find yourself in that 18 to 23 point range, maybe there's just 1 or 2 areas that need more clarity. Most often it's purpose, like what am I gonna do? Or it's having confidence and actually clicking their tire button. And if you're under 18, that's okay. It just means maybe you've got some more planning to do. Maybe now is a time where you can focus and you can start putting a plan together, start asking yourself those difficult questions. And listen, this is about getting the perfect score. It's about getting honest with yourself, because the real question isn't what's the perfect age to retire. It's what kind of life am I ready to live? And when you can answer that, I'd say the age takes care of itself. If you're wondering what is the number you need to retire, not the portfolio number, but actually a much different number, I call it the magic number. And you can click this video right here to learn about what I believe to be the magic retirement number that nobody talks about. Once again, it's Matt Calcagno, certified financial planner advisor here at 1 Degree Advisors. If you'd like to talk to me or someone on my team about your plan to retire, you can click the link in the description and we would love to talk with you.